The billionaire CEO had spent years chasing power, fortune, and recognition, moving from one city to another, rarely pausing to breathe. One evening, drained from endless meetings and the pressure of running an empire, she decided to come home without telling anyone. She expected silence, the kind that usually filled her massive mansion. But as she stepped inside, her heels clicking on the marble floor, she froze. From the grand hall came soft voices and the faint scratch of a pencil. Quietly, she followed the sound until she reached the doorway. What she saw made her heart stop. The janitor who cleaned her mansion every night was sitting cross-legged on the polished floor, his little daughter beside him. Instead of mops and buckets, they had spread out old notebooks and worn textbooks. The father's rough hands gently guided his daughter through math problems, his voice patient, filled with encouragement. The little girl, bright-eyed and determined, scribbled her answers, beaming each time she got something right. The CEO stood in the shadows, unable to move. In that moment, she saw a love stronger than wealth and a hope purer than ambition. This man, who worked silently in her home, was giving his daughter something money couldn't buy, faith in her future. A lump rose in the CEO's throat. For all her riches, she had never felt a joy as real as the one before her. What began as an unplanned visit was about to change her life forever. The CEO's breath caught as she stepped fully into the grand hall, her presence startling the janitor and his daughter. The man quickly stood, flustered, his face pale with fear that he had overstepped boundaries by using the mansion's quiet space. He stammered an apology, gathering the worn books as if he might be dismissed on the spot. But the CEO didn't speak immediately. She was struck by the scene. The determination in the little girl's eyes, the tenderness in her father's voice still lingering in the air. Finally, she asked softly, "What are you doing here so late?" The janitor hesitated, then admitted that he brought his daughter because he couldn't afford tutoring or extra classes. He wanted her to study in a safe, quiet place after his shift, far from the noisy neighborhood they lived in. The girl looked up shyly, clutching her pencil, and whispered that she wanted to become a doctor one day. The CEO's heart ached. In her mansion, where wealth flowed endlessly, here sat two souls who carried more dreams than comfort. She realized this wasn't a violation of her space but a father's sacrifice and a child's hope unfolding in front of her. For a moment, the CEO felt small compared to their courage. She saw not a janitor and his daughter, but a man who worked tirelessly to give his child a chance at a life brighter than his own. Something inside her shifted, and she knew she couldn't walk away unchanged. The CEO lingered in silence, her eyes fixed on the worn-out books and the small flickering lamp that lit the hall. She had built skyscrapers, signed billion-dollar deals, and commanded entire industries, yet she had never witnessed something as powerful as this, a father's unwavering devotion carved into every word he spoke to his child. The janitor, nervous, began to explain further, his voice trembling. He confessed that he often skipped meals so he could buy second-hand books, and sometimes worked double shifts just to afford the bus fare for his daughter's schooling. His only dream was that she would never have to mop floors or scrub tiles as he did. The CEO felt her throat tighten. She thought of her own life, of all the nights spent in luxury hotels, yet in complete loneliness. Her wealth had given her everything except what this man held so dearly, genuine love and purpose. As she looked at the little girl's eager eyes, shining with determination, she felt something crack inside her cold, business-hardened heart. In that instant, she understood that true success wasn't in the size of a bank account but in the size of one's sacrifice. The janitor, a man society barely noticed, had achieved a richness she had never known. Her eyes brimmed with tears as she realized that perhaps she had come home not by chance, but because she was meant to witness this moment, a moment that would remind her of the humanity she had almost forgotten. The CEO finally stepped closer, her heels echoing softly against the marble. The janitor froze, clutching his daughter's hand as if bracing for the worst. But instead of scolding, the CEO slowly knelt beside them, her eyes warm with something they had never seen in her before, compassion. She gently asked the little girl what she dreamed of becoming. The child's voice was quiet, but steady, "A doctor. I want to help people. Like my dad helps me." The words pierced through the silence, filling the vast hall with a kind of purity money could never buy. The janitor lowered his head, ashamed, murmuring that he knew it was wrong to use her home but he had no other choice. He promised it would never happen again. But the CEO reached out, lifting his daughter's notebook with trembling hands. "Don't apologize," she said softly. "You're doing something extraordinary." Overwhelmed with emotion, she made a decision right then. Looking the janitor in the eye, she said, "From this day forward, your daughter's education is my responsibility. Every book, every class, every dream she has, I'll make sure she gets there." The man gasped, his voice breaking as tears rolled down his cheeks. His daughter, too young to understand the full weight of the promise, smiled with innocent hope. In that moment, the mansion, once cold and empty, felt alive. Filled not with wealth, but with the warmth of humanity and the spark of a future being rewritten. The janitor dropped to his knees, overcome with gratitude, tears streaming down his weathered face. He struggled to find words, his voice shaking as he whispered, "I don't know how to thank you, ma'am. You've changed our lives." His daughter wrapped her small arms around him, her smile shining brighter than any chandelier in the mansion. For the CEO, it was a moment unlike any boardroom victory or corporate triumph. For the first time in years, she felt truly human, connected, grounded, and alive. She placed a gentle hand on the little girl's shoulder and said, "Don't thank me. Just promise me one thing, never stop dreaming, no matter how hard it gets." The girl nodded eagerly, clutching her worn pencil like it was a wand of possibility. As the night settled over the grand estate, the CEO realized that this unexpected return home had given her something no amount of money could buy. A sense of purpose beyond herself. She had always measured success in profits and power, but now she understood that real wealth was found in lifting others, in turning someone's struggle into a story of hope. Walking away, she knew her life had changed too. The mansion no longer felt empty, it echoed with laughter, dreams, and a reminder that kindness was the greatest legacy she could leave behind. And in that quiet, powerful moment, the billionaire CEO discovered the true meaning of coming home.